We are tonight's entertainment.
What the fuck is this, Chet?
This is a tasty burger.
Were you rushing or were you drinking?
You like Huey Lewis in the news?
Is this your homework, Larry?
Welcome back
to the Film
Scoop. Film Scoop. We're back.
I'm fucking excited about this one, man.
Yeah, the time's come.
Yep.
A new David Fincher has been bestowed upon us.
Yep.
Doesn't happen every day. Doesn't happen every year.
We're spoiled. He spoils us. He shouldn't be giving us what he's giving us.
I mean, really, when you think about it, he hasn't been. Because the last movie he gave us was called Mank. And the last movie he made before that was 6 years before that. So really, when you think about it, he's been fucking us.
Any man that gives me a masterpiece, like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, he could never make a movie again for the rest of his life. Benjamin Button's on his record.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Yeah. It's like James Cameron with T2.
Exactly.
It's like no matter what he does,
no
matter if he makes 8 more Avatar sequels, he's always got T2. And Davy Finch always has Benjamin Button.
I wake up at night like, man, I wish I had a movie where I could watch Brad Pitt get young. And that'd be an entire movie.
Every night when I have trouble sleeping, I look up at my ceiling in my bedroom and I look at my Benjamin Button poster that I have taped to my ceiling. And then it gives me peace of mind. I remember that it still exists, and then I get a good night's rest.
Exactly.
I advise everyone to have that in their room.
Yeah.
It's a big help. So honestly, I mean, I haven't watched Mindhunter, so I guess some of those years that I'm talking about, he was working on Mindhunter, so that's fair. But really, it's been 9 years since I've gotten a David Fincher movie that I like. Yeah. If we're being honest, so
no, it has been a while. It has been a while for sure.
Because Gone Girl came out in 2014, and that's the last David Fincher movie I'd say I liked. Have I watched Mank? Maybe I haven't, but that's not the point.
Maybe
the point is
not
he
even
didn't
on
make
the list.
He didn't make a movie interesting enough to make me want to watch it. You know how uninteresting a movie has to look when it's made by David Fincher that I don't want to watch? That's pretty fucking difficult. He's one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
He's like top 5 favorite directors. He's made 5 masterpieces as far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad that he was able to make it. Seems like something he was passionate about. And
it was a passion project.
I'm glad it happened for him. But let's get real here.
Yeah,
let's bring it back down to everyone else's level.
It was like a story that his dad wrote or something like that, so it was like special to him. So I don't want to be too hard on it, but it just looks so fucking boring. And
way to not be hard on it, dude.
Yeah,
you really pulled your punches on that.
I don't want to be an asshole, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't seen it. We're doing a Fincher ranking. Initially, I was like, I want to do a Fincher ranking, but that means I'll have to watch Mank. And then I realized something. I had a brain blast. And I was like, this is my podcast, so I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I don't have to watch anything. I can just rank it without Mank.
Cash came up to me and said, we're doing a Fincher ranking, and we're not doing Mank. And I went, oh, you didn't want to check it out? He was like, no, I'm not watching that shit. And he walked away and started doing dishes.
And then I quoted Office Space where I was like, no, I'm not quitting my job. I'm just not going to go anymore.
Yeah,
we're going to do a Fincher ranking. We're
loose.
just not going to watch Mank.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, David is my boy. To keep things short, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and I've been quite excited about The Killer for a long time now, because that just sounded perfect. David Fincher, Michael Fassbender, movie where people get killed. I'm in.
That's all.
I'm
That's
in.
all you had to tell me.
And then the fucking posters dropped. Have you seen the fucking posters to this movie?
I haven't seen any of the posters.
You haven't seen a single poster?
Not a single one.
You're about to see them live on the air because holy fuck, they are some of the best looking posters I've ever seen in my life.
I hope that it's a still of Michael Fassbender's Wiener.
This is the main poster.
Oh shit, dude!
It's fucking like oil, like
awesome.
Water painted. Like
yeah, and he's wearing the hat.
Watercolor. He's wearing the hat, and there's a poster I like even more than that. Let me see if I can find it. I have it set as my letterbox. Oh, there it is. This is my favorite one.
Oh, jeez Louise, dude, on the fucking scooter. God,
dude, they're
bless.
the most fucking beautiful posters I've seen in years. They're like watercolor painted with this like blue-green tint. It just looks fucking gorgeous.
No, that was genuine.
I want, even
really
though,
good-looking.
like, The Killer isn't my favorite David Fincher movie, I feel like I've got to have that on my wall. Like,
Yeah.
that poster is too... I almost want to say it's an all-timer.
Yeah,
Like,
I-
best
yeah.
posters I've ever seen in my life.
I think so.
So, yeah. But yeah, I've been quite excited about The Killer. So, I guess we'll go through our watch list, talk about The Killer, and then go into our ranking.
I actually have inside scoop, a surprise inside scoop, because Scoop of Life is fucking stupid. So, inside scoop.
I'm sorry.
You heard what I said.
You know, I think there's a couple lads that may disagree with you about that.
Ooh, I don't care. Inside scoop is what it is.
Okay.
So, situation occurred that really grinded my gears, and I just needed to get it off my chest. This dickhead that I know, he came up to me, and he quoted a movie. And he asked me where I thought it was from, and I said, I don't know where it's from. And he just went, man, you're a dumbass, and then just walked away. Now, you guys tell me, is that something a cool guy would do, or is that something a dickhead would
Let
do?
me set the stage for this, all right? Let me preface with what's going on.
Now, like, he was like, oh, I want to see if you can figure it out. 2 days went by, and he just never brought it up again.
You never brought it up again.
I told you the day that it happened that I'm not going to be able to figure it out. First, let me just lay out the quote. I want to see if other people can get it.
No, I wanted to preface with this situation. You cut me off.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
Me and Carl, all right, we're pals. And we have quite extensive movie knowledge. So anytime I quote a movie, he instantly knows what it is.
Typically, it does happen.
Like when I quoted Office Space, and I was like, oh, I'm not quitting my job. I'm just not going to go. I'm just going to stop going.
Yeah.
He instantly knew what it was from. I didn't have to say it. It's rare that I quote something that he doesn't instantly get. So I thought it would be fun to see if he could figure it out without any hints. So we were in a store, and he saw these pads that you can slip into like your pants at work. If you like work, like a physical job, they slide into your pants, and they're like knee pads. And I made a joke.
I want say the quote the way you said it. I want to see it.
Okay.
And then if you want to try and guess what it's from,
I told him it's a very niche reference.
throw it out. I want to see how many people can come up with an answer. It'll be fun for the audiences.
Oh, so you want me to not say what it's from and see if they know?
Don't say what it's from. Just throw out what you said, and then I want also their opinion on how much of a dickhead you are for doing this.
Okay, all right. To all the
It bothers
scoopers
me
out there.
so much. I asked Logan, where the fuck did he tell you it was from? So I know where it's from, but just
it bothered you so much.
Yeah, because I was like, why did he not tell me? What's wrong with this person?
Because I
was like, it's
just
like
told you. I thought it would be
an
fun.
anime guy comes up. I asked her that the next day because you never gave me an answer.
You never asked again.
We were shopping.
I forgot about
we were
it. I
shopping
forgot
for
that
your
happened.
Dad's birthday.
I forgot that happened.
We're in the middle of your dad's birthday. He's trying on ginormous pants, and you throw out that quote. And I'm
You
like,
could have
I'm
came
not
to me
gonna
at
be able
any
to-
point and said, "Hey,
gonna
what's
be
that
able
quote
to
from?" I
focus.
forgot that happened until now.
I said, I'm not going to be able to get
You have
this.
this secret hatred
We're
towards me when
watching-
I forgot this even existed.
We're watching your tiny dad put on these big pants, and I'm not going to be able to focus on this quote.
Okay, so here's the reference. All right, like I said, very niche. I'm not gonna. The movie isn't niche, but like the scene I'm referencing is
Just
very
say the
niche.
fucking
Okay, this is the quote. All right. I got pads on. That's the quote.
No one's going to figure that out.
I think someone will.
I hope they do.
I think someone will.
It'd be really cool if they did, but
Yeah, and what's
damn it.
funny was like when I wouldn't tell Carl what it was from because I wanted him to guess. He was like, "I'll just look it up," and then he couldn't find it because it's too niche of a scene.
I did not think it would be that difficult, but nothing on the interwebs came up because I was like, I'm not gonna I don't know, I can't figure it out, so I'll just look it up. Because he was like, "Do you know what that's from?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't remember that." And you went, "Oh, interesting," and then that was it. And I went, "You're not gonna tell me?" And you're like, "No." And I went, "I'll just look it up."
But that's like
There's
you
no
don't-
situation.
You don't
that's
think
not,
it's fun to have like a challenge like that?
It is, but when someone says I can't figure it out, and you just go, "Well, fuck you," that's pretty crazy, dude.
But why wouldn't you want more time to think about it?
Because we were in the middle of shopping for your dad's birthday.
You can
I
go
knew I
back to it
wasn't-
later. It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I had an entire day, and I didn't figure it out. So when I said I didn't figure out the first time, no brain blast occurred that I was
All
like,
right.
"Oh, wait a second. This one character said this once in this one movie. I've got pads."
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the scoopers think.
What's
see
that
if-
one guy's name? David, back me up on this.
It's no. I know no one named David.
Oh,
He's talking about Alan.
yeah, Alan, back me up on this. I need you to tell Cash he's an asshole. That's not going to happen. Everyone's going to jump on the Carl's a dumbass train.
I mean, can you blame them?
No, I kind of like it. I do kind of like it.
No, Alan and Spitfire, I'd like to say, are our two like most loyal listeners.
Yeah.
There's more that listen to it, but those guys tune in every week. So
I want you to
also
know.
Spitfire recommended me Martyrs, and I didn't say that during our Martyrs episode, so I'm a piece of shit for that. But that was his rec to me. So
Heck yeah.
shout out to Spitfire. His
Alan
name's
and
also
Spitfire, I want you to know, I get up every day, and I get it done for you guys.
Evan. Yep. I do 10 stomach crunches looking at a picture of Alan and Evan
Yeah.
right next to each other on the wall. But yeah, so I think we've said what we need to say. I think
Yeah.
we can go into our watch list. So first on the watch list, The Killer. We'll come back to that.
Circle back.
Next day, I watched Kung Fu Panda 2.
You finished it?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
it's good.
Don't do
Dude,
that gesture to me.
These movies, like they're not. How do I say this where it doesn't sound?
Dude, I'm gonna
mean.
punch you in the stomach. I promise. If you
Here,
backtalk,
I'll do another quote to explain how I feel about these Kung Fu Panda movies.
okay.
I'm afraid you're just not terribly important to me. That's how I feel about the Kung Fu Panda movies. They're not bad. They're not bad movies at all. They're completely fine. But I just watched them and I'm like, yeah, like I don't really have an urge to rewatch them. They're not my favorite, like some of my favorite animated films. I feel like they all get kind of repetitive, where it's like 2 and 3, I feel like they're both, the movie starts and it's like Poe needing to find out who he is, and then something happens, and then there's this moment where he does something cool, and then he understands who he is, and then the movie ends. It's like it's pretty much the same exact story, just done twice. And a lot of the cool moments are also undercut with comedy. So there's a scene in Kung Fu Panda 3 where Tigress comes to the Panda Village to let Poe know that they were fucking shit up at the village, and like everyone's dead but her. Like, well,
They've been
his name?
captured.
Kai has been like,
Oh yeah.
he took control of them, and they're like in the spirit
took their
realm or
chi.
whatever. Yeah. And then she was like, everything's gone, like everything's destroyed. And then it's like the serious moment. And then his dad, like his goose dad, is like, what about my restaurant? And it was supposed to be really funny, and it wasn't. And it just ruined the moment. And it's like what Marvel does when they have a serious scene, and then there's like some character that ruins the importance of the scene by making a joke. And there's also a scene, I think it was in 3, it may have been in 2, when Poe's on the top of a roof, and he's like, I'm gonna need a hat, and then
Oh, that's 2.
yeah, so then he's on the top of the roof, and he has this like cool shot of him on top of the roof about to come fuck shit up, and then he's yelling something at them, and then it zooms out and you can't hear what he's saying, and they're like, what? And then it's just like that gag again that they do in Shazam, and it's like, and then he throws the hat, and then it like whimpers off and it goes like 10 feet. It's like, I know it's a kid's movie, but you can still have some cool moments without undercutting it with comedy.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't even feel cool anymore. So, yeah. They're completely fine movies, but they're not something I, like, gravitate towards. They don't make me feel anything. They're just, like, they're good.
Yeah. I don't like the Mr. Ping disrespect that you gave, but other than that, I understand. I do like 3 a lot, though, because... Bryan Cranston, J.K. Simmons, you know, my wiener's hard. But he also, I'm pretty sure it's 3, he has an idea of who he is. He's like, I'm the Dragon Warrior, and he has to become an instructor, and he's really unsure of himself. He's like, you know, I'm the Dragon Warrior, I just kick ass and fucking chew bubblegum, that's all I do.
Yeah.
So it's like he kind of understood his role, but is thrown into something else.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we all are. Like we're all somewhere, and then a situation arises. We have to do something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And I like the fucking chi when they all put their hands out, and his fucking goose dad's like a family. I was like, oh my god. Dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Then next up, we rewatched The Killer. Well, I did.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a cool guy. And then that same day, I watched Kung Fu Panda 3.
What a follow-up, dude.
Yeah.
To go from The Killer to Kung Fu Panda 3.
Yeah, I had a pretty insane run yesterday.
You know what's crazy?
Yesterday, I watched The Killer, and then I watched Kung Fu Panda 3, and then I watched Chicken Run.
Oh, shit. I was holding out on Chicken Run because I thought you wanted to watch it.
I didn't want to watch it. It was wrecked to me. So I had to watch it.
I would have watched that instead of Kubo if I'd known that.
Oh, yeah?
But, yeah, I actually did the Kung Fu Panda triathlon, and then that was also the same time that you said we need to watch Martyrs, so my watch list technically was Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, 3, Martyrs. Which
As it should be.
Absurd, dude. That's wild.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. Happy. I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 3. I gave it a 3-star. I gave the first one a 3.5, second one a 3.5, third one a 3.
Oh, okay.
So I thought the 3 was just slightly worse because it felt like it was a lot of what 2 was, with Poe like finding himself, finding out who he is.
Yeah, as crazy as it is, I wish they hadn't put his dad in 3.
Yeah, just I don't know. It didn't really do much for me, and I thought it was kind of repeating what they did in 2.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch, like, not to compare Kung Fu Panda to like masterpieces, but when you watch the Toy Story movies, each one feels distinctive and different, and they all serve a different purpose.
Of course.
And Kung Fu Panda feels like they're all 3 the same movie.
Yeah.
And
I get
that's
that.
No fun.
No, I get that.
It's like they're reskinned. They just replace the villain with a new villain. That's pretty much it.
Do you like them more than Rango?
I like them a lot more than Rango.
Okay, that's all. What did you give Rango?
I think I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
Which was probably me being nice.
Rango does look good. I know you don't like it a lot, but
The animation's good.
yeah,
And like the cinematography too,
yeah.
which is different than animation, contrary to popular belief. Those are different things. And it does look really good, but I just find it really boring and unfunny. At least Kung Fu Panda's funny at times because Jack Black's awesome.
Dude, my favorite like gag that they did was the, "Hey, how's it going?" Turn back and do what he was doing. That's great. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, Jack Black's the man.
Yeah,
so he does a lot for those movies. Yeah, and then I watched Chicken Run.
What do you think about Chicken Run?
I gave it a 3.5. Like, I don't know. I didn't grow up with it. And the animation's cool. It has like that Wallace and Gromit type animation.
I think it's by the same people.
Well, let's just see. Nick Park, Peter Lord. It appears so.
Yeah. Because the claymation form is very much
same.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but just didn't really move me, I guess. I don't know. It's cool.
You know what will move you? Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
We're watching that soon.
Yeah.
We got to.
It has to happen.
Yeah. And then I think that would be all for my watch list. Did you have anything you watched?
I did and didn't. Here's another inside scoop. My wife fucked me in the ass.
Ah, classic.
Because for those of you who don't know, there's a little movie. I don't know if it's coming out or if it's come out, whatever it is, but there's a new Hunger Games movie coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I could have just dreamt this. Maybe a fucking bug flew in my ear. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure we all agreed that we were going to rewatch all the Hunger Games movies at one point in preparation for the new movie. I woke up Sunday morning, I think, at like, my alarm went off at 6 a.m. She was laying in bed next to me, watching Mockingjay Part 1, like halfway through the movie. And I was like, that's fucking weird. Turned over, fell back to sleep. So I get up, our day goes by, and then she was like, do you want to watch Mockingjay Part 2? And I was like, what the fuck? You actually watched that? I thought you just like put it on being weird. But no, she sat down. She was like, I did put it on, but it locked me in. I was like, I'm sure it did. I'm sure they're good. So she watched Mockingjay 1, and then I was just sitting next to her watching Mockingjay 2 with fucking no idea, kind of an idea of what's going on because I have seen them all before.
Yep. And then that's when I went out. I got home and I was like, time to watch a movie with my pals. And then they were halfway through fucking Mockingjay Part 2, and I was like, well, to my room I go, because not joining in halfway through a movie I haven't seen. So
I just want you to know I wasn't having a good time.
I bet not.
Yep.
I bet not. But I was. Because I was in my room watching Kung Fu Panda 3 and Chicken Run. So who's the real winner here?
Yeah. I wish I was a part of that group. But yeah.
You're always welcome.
That was half of Mockingjay Part 2 is what I was in my watch list.
How'd that go?
Dude, PETA is a bitch. That guy, I really don't really like his character that much. Grasping at straws of what I remember from the first like set of movies. That guy kind of sucks.
I don't know. I mean,
Katniss kind of sucks too, but maybe
maybe you were just upset that you were watching a sequel to like a movie you haven't watched at least in a long time.
I was in a bad mood about the whole thing. Really fired me up, so maybe I was just shitting on the movie,
being extra critical of it.
When we watch it, I'll try to explain later, but I don't want to say anything.
Logan also said she was watching those because there's a new one coming out, but I told her the new one's a prequel, so you don't have to watch anything. Nothing matters. It's a prequel.
I mean, yeah, but
unless you just want to for fun. But
aren't you the guy that wanted to watch Frankenstein before he watched Frankenweenie? So let's
Okay,
just.
so listen.
What the flip?
You're talking about something completely different.
Oh yeah,
Alright? That's a completely different scenario than what we're talking about here.
You're right. It's absurdly different.
It is. It is. You don't think there's any parallels between Frankenstein and Frankenweenie?
There's as many parallels as there are between Hunger Games and the new Hunger Games.
No,
Yep.
because the new
Do you know
Hunger
why?
Games
Do you know why?
is a
Because
prequel.
there's a Hunger Games in the new Hunger Games, and there's a Hunger Games in the old Hunger Games. That common thread is as much common thread as there is for Frankenweenie.
No.
Because
You're
there's
lying.
there's a creature in Frankenstein that gets brought back to life, and there's a creature in
It's
Frankenweenie that
called
gets brought back.
Frankenweenie.
Who fucking
You don't
cares,
think it's gonna
dude?
be a parody of Frankenstein at all?
I'm telling you the exact parallels between the two. A fucking creature gets brought back to life in one movie, and a creature gets brought back to life in another movie.
Listen, you're
You're nuts, dude. You're crazy.
you're the crazy one here. All right?
You're out of your mind right now.
You're the crazy one. Okay. I think that's a completely fair thing
No.
to say.
No. Not if you're gonna say you don't have to watch the other Hunger Games because it's a prequel.
It's a prequel. Frankenweenie isn't a prequel to Frankenstein.
Okay, it is a prequel.
It's not.
It is. People weren't driving cars when Frankenstein was made. It was fucking. The setting was in the 1800s, and in Frankenweenie the setting's like the 50s, so it's a prequel, or a fucking whatever.
What are you saying? You just said it takes place in the 50s when the original Frankenstein's the 1800s.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not a prequel.
It's not connected in any way except for a creature gets brought to life.
Well, I haven't seen the movie, Carl.
We have seen Frankenstein.
We seen parts of Frankenstein, and I've seen nothing of Frankenweenie.
Oh wait, did you turn off Frankenstein?
Yeah, we both did.
Oh yeah, I forgot that
We got like
shut it
30
off.
minutes in, and we stopped.
Yeah, I forgot that we stopped watching Frankenstein.
Yeah.
No, the parallels are almost the exact same between the two. If anything, there's more parallels in the Hunger Games movie because it actually involves a character that was from the old Hunger Games because it's Snow when he was younger. So
Yeah,
there's
but you
even
don't
more
really-
connections to the sequels in that movie than there is between Frankenstein and Frankenweenie.
I'm tired of having this conversation now. I'd like to move on to something else.
You're just a fool.
No.
You're a
No.
you're a little fucking
I think
guy.
that's a completely fair assessment to
A
have.
little scallywag is what you are.
You call me what you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. All right?
Anyway, what's next?
That's it. That's my watch list.
Oh, that was all?
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're getting into The Killer. The Killer, directed by David Fincher. We drove an hour and 25 minutes to see this in the old cinema
Had to.
because Netflix is a piece of shit company and doesn't put their movies in actual theaters like Regal and AMC. So we
Isn't
had to-
that fun?
Yeah, it's just a great time. So we had to drive to the Alamo Draft House, which, if you've never been, you order food there. They serve you food during the movie.
Not after they put
Well,
the
I'm
check
fucking getting there, all right? You want to fucking fucking
I didn't
press the
know-
brakes?
I didn't
God
know
damn
if you
it.
were going to tell
Can't
the
do
people.
fucking shit around here.
I didn't know if you were going to tell them how you got fucked or not.
Why do you think I'm fucking bringing up the Alamo Draft House?
I thought you were just
Thought I was doing it for fun?
I thought you were setting the stage, like letting the people
God,
know our
this fucking
dedication to Fincher.
Anyways, here's the deal about the Alamo Draft House. I don't want to order food right when the movie starts, because it will most likely make me poop. So here's my thought process. I sit down. It depends on what the food is, right? One food will make you poop more likelier than another food. All right? So
Sounds
I sit
good to
down.
me.
I sit down, I get churro popcorn. It's light, it's not greasy. It's something I don't have to look at also. That's big.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to look at food cuz I have to look away from the screen. If I'm eating they have chips and queso there, which in an ideal world would be what I get because that's like my shit.
Of course.
But that's a lot of looking away from the screen to dip, and I don't want to do that. So I wanted something I could just eat and like not look at and just watch the movie. Got churro popcorn, pretty good stuff.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, time to order some real food because now I'm getting hungry. And it's like we're in the second half of the movie, so if I eat something, you know, that is going to make me cause a bowel movement, the movie will be almost over and it won't be a big deal.
Yeah.
So I put in an order for some loaded fries, like a Chad.
Of course.
Because that's what Chads do.
That's
They get loaded fries.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
And then this fucking lady comes and she looks at my little receipt of me asking for loaded fries and starts screaming like in the middle of a movie.
She talked
loud as fuck, and she was like, "We've already done card drop." I was like, "Huh? What the fuck are you talking about?" And she had to say it again, and she was like, "Everyone's already paid."
She might as well have said.
She might as well have had a fucking megaphone.
Turned on the lights and said, "This fucking dumbass is trying to order fries."
This fucking tubby over here is trying to order food. Everyone call him names. That's what she was trying to do.
It was. I heard her respond to it, and I was like, "God damn!" I looked at her. I made eye contact. And I was like, "Holy fuck, dude, lady, I'm watching this movie." You're crazy right now. I'm just trying to watch this movie.
So yeah, I got fucked.
That was.
I was
insane.
hungry. I was trying to order some loaded fries. They said "fuck you." So basically, Alamo has a policy where they don't let you order for the last like second half of the movie. They cut off orders in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's not fucking eat while you watch movies. It's eat while you watch the first half of a movie.
Yeah.
That's the deal. So, which doesn't make any sense because when you sit down at your seat in the Alamo, you're about to watch a movie. They take your card, like they put your card on file. So that means you don't have to pay anymore. It's already paid for. It's prepaid.
Yeah.
You already gave them your card. You can get whatever you want. They'll just charge your card. So there's no reason to have this huge hour-long cutoff period where people need to pay because you can serve up until the end of the movie because no one needs to pay. You don't need time for people to pay. Yeah. You just charge their card when the movie ends. It's pretty simple. So, first of all, it's a double negative. I'm not getting food. Bad news. Bad news for me.
Poopy
You're
time.
not getting my money. Bad news for you. This makes no sense. This is illogical business running.
I do think that Logan was right in that they send like servers off to a different showing halfway through because I asked for a refill on my water. That second ticket that I put up, that was like 20 minutes between them actually bringing me my water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing is, okay, so if you have like 10 people in a theater when it starts to do orders, halfway through, most people are just going to order when they sit down. And like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So have the bulk of the employees working at the beginning when the movie starts. And like halfway through, you can send off like 5 of them. You can send off half to another theater and just have like 5 people working. Because the longer the movie goes on, the less business there will be and the less things you'll have to do.
I don't think they have those like... And there was 2 servers in our entire theater.
I think
there was that
like
one lady
3
and a
or 4.
guy.
Well, we were in the like 3rd row, so there's a lot behind us that we weren't looking at.
I guess I thought I heard that fucking loud ass bitch talking behind me, but I don't know. I don't know how far back she got. It's also crazy too because at Alamo Drafthouse, like obviously they know you're watching a movie, so they walk like hunchback over to your chair to like try and not block the screen. And then this lady
but
just
then they'll just
yelled
scream at you and
at
say
the top
fucking
of their lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, no, you can't fucking have it. See ya. And then crawled out of the fucking aisles to keep from people seeing her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have to hide yourself. We all know you're there.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. So Just had to discuss that Alamo experience. Alamo isn't my favorite place to go.
I don't really like it either.
I think here's what I stand by. Alamo is a good place to go for rewatches. It's not a good place to go for a premiere of a movie you're excited about that you've never seen.
I agree with that.
There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of fucking loud ass fucking women talking for no reason when you're just asking for loaded fries. If you order food, like, it can be distracting having to look away and eat your food.
I did a big brain thing, and I ate my food before the movie even started. I fucking threw it back.
Yeah.
So I got my food, and I got to hear you get yelled at. So I had a great time.
You had
I had the best time of my life.
Yeah, it's a cool place, and like, it is ran pretty well.
Yeah.
But
the idea is there. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm a stickler for the standard movie going experience, but I do like having a box in front of me of popcorn that I can just scoop
Guzzle
up by a
down.
handful. If shit falls, it fucking falls. I'm a fat bastard.
Yeah.
But
And I just prefer, like, going to a Regal with a much larger screen, much louder speakers,
yeah,
and no food being served.
that's
Because the food, like, me getting food at a movie is honestly just like, I feel like I have to because I'm there at the Alamo, because I don't go very often, so I feel like I have to.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I would probably never do that. If they served food at Regal, like, to your chair, I'd probably never do that.
yeah.
I don't really want to eat during a movie. I don't want anything I have to look away from the movie at. I'll eat, like, snacks.
Yeah, you snack on, but you're not going to sit down and eat a fucking cheesesteak like I do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I pretty much just do it when I go there because I feel like I have to. And, I mean, the screen is fine at the Alamo, but it's not, like... It's a pretty small auditorium. The sound isn't, like, huge.
I was going to say, it's more the sound for me. I mean, obviously I don't know for sure because I haven't seen The Killer in a real theater because I'll just go fuck myself.
Yep.
'Cause Netflix sucks. But
Yep.
It's both The Killer and Asteroid City were both really quiet from what I remember.
Asteroid City was quiet, but we were sitting in the back row, so that could have made a big difference.
But The Killer, we were up at the front and it was still quiet.
I didn't think it was quiet, though.
Oh, I thought it was kind of quiet.
I mean, it's not as loud as, like, Regal, but it's...
That's what I'm saying. Like
I didn't think it was quiet, though.
No, like, you can hear it, but when you go from a movie like in Regal, it's a noticeable difference in the sound.
Unless you're watching Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
That was more than a little crazy. That might have fucking ruined my experience with that movie.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, we're dealt the hand that we were given. Regal's the more established, nicer theaters where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, they're still not nice and
Occasionally they
established.
flub.
They
What- so
have
what?
theater auditoriums that are just garbage and
Yeah.
have broken speakers and fucked up screens with stripes on them.
With new movies, it's almost worth it to just get IMAX. Even though the seats are less comfortable, it's almost worth it just to make sure your audio is not going to be fucked and it's going to be loud as shit.
Yeah.
So, we might have to see Napoleon in IMAX.
Now that's something I can get behind, dude.
And I'm pretty sure they're doing a deal where you get a free IMAX Napoleon ticket if you buy one or something like that. I don't know.
I don't even care
Let's
about the
look
deal.
at that.
I just definitely want to go see Napoleon in IMAX.
Yeah, that'd be pretty big cock. Big cock shit.
I wanna
We
hear
should
a
probably start
cannon go
talking
off.
about the movie now.
Oh, yeah.
The
Killer.
So, where do we start with this?
Let's get the obvious stuff done first. The soundtrack and the score, the sound design. Fantastic.
The sound design is the standout for me.
Yeah.
With all the technical elements. Obviously, the performance by Fassbender is amazing. And, like, the direction overall by David Fincher is amazing, as you come to expect with him. Cinematography's great, all that. But the sound is, like, sound design isn't normally something that sticks out to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare when that's something that I notice, like while I'm watching it. Dune is another one where the sound design really, like, on first watch, I was like, holy fucking shit. I remember when the ornithopter was crashing in the storm, and you heard the shit hitting the windshield. I was like, this sounds amazing. This feels like I'm in an ornithopter fucking crashing right now. This is crazy. But the sound design, there's so many different like things that it does. It's hard to even say like specifically what's so great about it, because there's so many different things. One of the things I loved was when he killed people. And like, for example, this is going to be full spoilers for the killer. Okay. Just to let all the scoopers know. When he kills Hodges and with the nail gun. Yeah. And it's an up close shot. Like he leans in with the nail gun. It's an up close shot of him putting the 3 nails in his chest. And the sound is honestly like kind of gross. Yeah. It sounds like what they did was they tried to get a sound of like him puncturing his heart. Yeah. That's kind of how it sounds. It sounds like a puncture. It doesn't just sound like a typical like gunshot or a nail gun shot. It sounds like he punctured something inside. Yeah. And then he starts like choking and like he can't breathe because he's choking on his blood, and that was really well done, all that shit.
Yeah. A lot of movies, like, you'll just get the sound of the nail gun because I guess the idea is that the nail gun's louder than whatever noise it makes going into your body. But because it's so like it's so close up from that perspective, you hear it like it's a nail going into a body.
Yeah. It seems like what they did with the sound design in this movie was like they tried to make it realistic to the proximity of the camera. So if the camera's really close to something, they made it really loud. The same way that like when he killed Tilda Swinton, like he's using a silenced pistol. So we see the shot of him shooting the silenced pistol, and it's just a silenced pistol. It's not loud at all. But then they do an up close shot of her forehead where she gets hit, and it makes like a really loud noise. Yeah. Like for the audience, because the camera got much closer to her head than it was before. So I think that may have been something that they were dabbling in.
Like also, the sounds in perspective of the viewer.
Yeah, which is blatantly obvious in the opening scene when he's listening to the Smiths, of course, which happens quite a lot.
He is a fan of the Smiths.
What a Chad. So the opening scene, like, we see shots of him looking out the window with a sniper, and he's got one earbud in, and it's sort of hard to describe without just watching it, but when we're seeing his perspective, it's in full 7.1 like surround sound, the song that's playing. And it sounds correct. It sounds like how movies normally sound when they play a song. And then when we cut out of his perspective and just show him, then we hear it playing from his earbud. Yeah. It's like very quiet, and you can hear it playing from his earbud. But then when the camera moves, we're still not in his perspective. It's still an outside perspective, but the camera moves, and then the audio changes. Like, it's still playing from his earbud, but now it's in a different location because the proximity of the earbud to the camera changed. Yeah. And it's little details like that that really make it feel immersive. Yeah. And make you feel like you're there. And other things like the when he's breaking into Hodges' like building or whatever that is, and he's sneaking in as the trash guy, and the little beep that plays when the door's shutting, and he starts going 1,000, 1,000, and like those are all sounds that you have to create. Like the sound designer created all that, and I don't know if this was intentional or not. I haven't heard anyone else bring it up, but the killer features a lot of beeps, a lot of beeping noises, and I'm not sure if it has any significance, but that door had a beep, had like an 8-second beep while it was closing. His bike, when he unlocks it, beeps. All the gates, like towards the end when he starts breaking into the gyms and the hotels, like Claiborne's hotel, and like when the guy orders Postmates and then he walks in, like every door that opens has like this big beep, and his watch beeps. And if you just pay attention during the movie, shit is always beeping.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like some type of commentary on how technology based we are nowadays. I don't know, but
it could be playing with like how complacent people are, like hearing an alarm going off and not really thinking anything of it.
Oh, the brute, when he breaks into his house, his door beeps.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then he keeps going. Yeah.
It could be a play on like complacency, because a lot of the movie is like, look how easy it is to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Especially with the tools at our disposal now. And then on top of that, what you brought up with you, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, every door he goes through almost has an alarm or a signal, and no one gives a fuck about it.
Yeah.
So it could be kind of a commentary on complacency.
Yeah.
Because even at my work, like, fucking trucks backing up have an alarm, and like half the time I don't think anything of it.
Yeah, it's like, what does the security features mean when you don't, like, no one pays attention to them?
Yeah.
They just happen so often that no one even notices that they're happening.
Because you think, oh, there's an alarm on this, but if you don't give a fuck half the time the alarm goes off, then it doesn't matter if it's going off.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the sound design is incredible. It's one of the big standouts. Fassbender, of course. Love that guy.
What a stud, dude.
Yeah. Had to make time in his race car driving schedule to act.
Let me just put this into perspective. He had two dreams: to be a race car driver and an actor. He's amazing at both. And I didn't go to college. I didn't have it in me. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
he's
wild.
a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He didn't choose like, I guess I'll become an actor and give up on that whole race car driving thing. He just said, fuck you.
I'm just going to be the best at both.
I'm just going to have the biggest dick in the world. And no one's going to say shit to me.
Yeah, no one's going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's really good. We'll get into some of my negatives about the movie later. But yeah, he's playing a very calculated, very detail-oriented, or so we think, character.
Yeah.
And I love the monologue he has, like, in his head that we're hearing. We're hearing his thoughts.
Yeah,
There's some lines that are really funny.
The inner monologue, I think, is what really makes the movie stand out. Because you're able to kind of figure out a lot about the character of the killer without, like, through the monologue. Because otherwise it's a pretty straightforward movie. It's a guy who got fucked and is now trying to get revenge. But through that monologue, you're able to surmise, based on what he's saying, and some of it isn't true. Mm-hmm. He's lying some of the time. Yeah. But you're able to see through his actions and like, oh, this guy's actually like this. Yeah. I think that's what really sets it apart from other stuff.
It kind of saves it, to be honest. Yeah. I think the killer without the inner monologue would be quite boring. Yeah. And quite not good. So that was a really good choice, keeping that in. I was listening to an interview with David Fincher, and he said he's always loved like voiceover in movies, and he was like, we've always had movies where characters are giving monologues and like talking to themselves in their head, but for like, we always assume that they're telling the truth. But when we talk to ourselves in our head, a lot of the time we're not telling the truth, and we're lying to ourselves. We're saying, I'm gonna do this, and then you don't. Yeah. And he was like, I thought it would be fun to play with that idea of like having a inner monologue that was actually real and where he's not always telling the truth, and he's not always he doesn't always follow through with what he's telling himself to do.
Yeah, and I fucking love that.
Yeah, that's really I don't know. I feel like this movie could have been better if they leaned more into the comedy and the satire of it, and if it was about like a hitman who is trying to convince himself to be like a cold-blooded killer who doesn't give a fuck about anything, but he can't, and which is like kind of what he went for, but he really, like, the comedy's few and far between, I feel like, in terms of things that actually I find really funny. It's only like a couple times in the movie, to be honest, and a lot of the times it's not the monologue, it's like it's other things, like how he's just always listening to the Smiths. I find that so funny. Like, that's such a funny character detail that he only listens to one band. Yeah. And then, like, you'll cut away from him listening to the Smiths to a new scene. Now he's just listening to a new song by the Smiths. Yeah. And it's like, that's really funny to me. And all the running thing about him, at like an airport, and they're like, enjoy your flight, Mr. Hayworth or whatever, and it's always a new name. Yeah, like I just feel like that's really funny too. It's just like a detail, and it's not really anything he's saying. And there are moments where he says stuff that's really funny, like what would John Wilkes Booth do? Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I really like the scene when he's driving down the road, listening to the Smiths, of course, and he eats a giant block of cheese. Is that what that is?
No, it was a boiled egg.
Oh,
it was a packaged up boiled egg.
I thought it was a little like mozzarella cheese.
No.
Yeah, no. He inhales an entire boiled egg out of a bag.
Yeah,
that's fucking.
He also
awesome.
Takes his muffin off of his Egg McMuffin.
Yeah,
which is not what I would do.
Yeah, you can count.
But I don't look like him. That guy's shredded to the bone.
He's doing yoga. He has a 15-inch penis. He's fucking in shape.
Yeah,
he can probably run for more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So he's already doing a lot more than I can.
Yeah. I'm not in a position to critique his diet. It seems like he knows what he's doing. The old Egg McMuffin without the muffin and an Ensure. That's his breakfast. Yeah. So
he's getting it done.
He's getting it done either way. But yeah, Fassbender's great. I mean, he's doing exactly what Fincher's asking him to. He looks really detached when he needs to. When he's trying to be really serious and fucked up, his eyes look dead. Yeah. And there's also one of the funnier parts of the movie is when he's in the bathroom at like the airport, and he's like talking to himself, and he looks up at himself and he goes, "Hey," and then it cuts, and it's like, what just happened? I can't remember what he was saying before that, but yeah, that was really funny. So yeah, Fassbender's the man. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's a pretty like stagnant performance in terms of like he's pretty much doing the same type of emotion the whole movie. Yeah. Like he's pretty much always serious, just always, out to kill somebody.
Of course.
Being silly. Yeah. Up to shenanigans.
Being a little goofball.
So he doesn't get like a wide range of emotions to show, but yeah, he's good. And I love the cinematography, specifically in Paris. I thought that was really beautiful. Yeah. I like the scene where he rides his bike, like where he misses the hit and then rides his bike, and it reminds me of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Oh yeah. Riding down like the wet streets, and you get the helmet POV shot.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, and then you see him like getting rid of the gun and like throwing pieces in the garbage truck as he drives by, and like throwing his helmet in the river, and he had a good line about that. He was like, if you don't want someone to figure out a puzzle, then take two pieces out of the puzzle and then like mix the rest up.
Oh,
or something like that. And
if you don't want someone solving a puzzle, remove a couple pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good line. And I also love how he references like pop culture things, like Storage Wars.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That you have a hitman, like an assassin, referencing Storage Wars in his head. There was another thing he referenced, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I think that that's really funny. It felt like a different comedy style than David Fincher normally has in his movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But when we first watched it, I think I liked it a touch more than you, and then you rewatched it. Did anything change for you at all?
No. So I think we got most of our like I want to get all like the positives out.
Oh, okay.
Just everything kind of positives first, and then I'll get into what I didn't like. The fight scene with the Brute.
Oh my god.
Was fucking tits.
I really like any time in the movie when you think something's gonna happen, he just winds up killing the person. Like they do it with the Brute when he's like, "Oh, is that the Dominican Republican?"
Yeah.
You know you shouldn't have, and then he just instantly shoots him in the head and like cuts off his dialogue. Mm-hmm. And then Tilda Swinton, she's like, "Won't you help me?" And you're like, "Oh fuck, don't you fucking help her?"
Yeah.
And he shoots her in the head and cuts off everything she was doing. I really like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, he would kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he listen to what that guy has to fucking say?
Yeah. Yeah, the fight scene was fucking amazing. It's like a few minutes long. They shot it where it's kind of dark and it looks really cool visually. And there's a lot of good dynamics with the Brute being fucking 7 foot tall and Fassbender being a smaller guy and him throwing him around. He throws him against the TV. He like slams him into tables and coffee tables, and just like a brutal fight. More great sound design in that scene. And there's a part where he's like in the kitchen on the floor and he reaches into a drawer to grab a knife and it's a cheese grater. And,
yeah.
And he throws it to make a distraction. And one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a while. And I'm trying to think, because everyone's been saying it's the best fight scene of the year, if not the last few years. But John Wick 4 came out this year. Yeah. And I guess the difference would be that John Wick isn't really like a fight scene and it's more an action sequence if there's guns involved. So I'm trying to think of like hand-to-hand fights in John Wick 4 and how many there are.
I mean, he typically has some kind of weapon, but I mean, he was down to just like nunchucks for a while in that first initial sequence.
Yeah.
Like how
I guess
it depends on like technically just hands. I don't
to
think
me
there's...
like all the stuff in John Wick is action sequences versus this being a fight scene.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's not the best action sequence of the year, but it's the best fight scene.
Yeah, I don't think that there is any just hands combat sequences in John Wick. Obviously, they wrestle and they do fight, but there's typically a gun involved or some kind of weapon.
Yeah, like in the chime sequence in the kitchen with Donnie Yen, like he's not using a gun, but they are. Like the people trying to kill him are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's tricky. I mean, I think almost every sequence in John Wick 4 is probably better than the killer's fight scene, because that's just John Wick's just my shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's a league of its own.
I just think Chad Stahelski's in a different stratosphere when it comes to action.
Yeah.
But I see what they're saying. If you're just counting fight scenes and you consider John Wick action scenes, that's cool, and I agree then. But yeah, that scene was fucking awesome. More positives. Yeah, that's kind of. I think that's mainly what I have for the positives. Just really well shot.
I did like the ending to The Killer. Not necessarily where it ended or how it ended, but his ending monologue, like in contradiction to his starting dialogue. I liked that idea of him saying, like, you know, it takes a special type of person to do this job. Not many can do it. And then by the end, he's like, maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you're one of the many like me. Mm-hmm. And then he's sitting on the chair.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we can get into the negatives for me, which was, I feel like the movie is very anticlimactic, and it never really builds up to anything memorable. It's a very straightforward movie about an assassin who is getting revenge on people, and that's it. It's very straightforward. And at the beginning of the movie, he says, if you can't handle boredom, then this job isn't for you. And I'm not saying that the movie's boring, because obviously it's not, but it's very just like procedural. Like, he finds out these 4 people who are involved with them hurting his, or 5 people involved in hurting his girlfriend, and then he just goes and kills all of them, except for 1. And that's pretty much, there's no twist, there's no like big catharsis moment or anything. You don't get to know really much about the character. He doesn't, like, he has sort of an arc with like his final monologue of him kind of saying that he's not one of the few and he's actually one of the many, and he's kind of been trying to make himself into something he's not.
Yeah.
But it's very like, it's not very prevalent, and you don't get a lot of scenes with that happening. It's kind of just like thrown in at the end.
Well, the thing is, at the end, his like that eye twitch kind of makes me think that monologue he's telling is another lie that he's telling himself.
Yeah, that could be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a movie that like I wish I liked more, and there's a lot about it that I really love. But when I finish it, like, I thought that watching it a second time would change how I feel about it, but when I finish it, I just feel underwhelmed. Like, I just feel like it didn't really lead up to anything. And my favorite part is the first 30 minutes. I feel like once he starts going and killing the people is when it actually kind of gets less interesting. And like I said, I feel like it could have been a lot better if they just embraced the satire and made it more of just a dark comedy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that could have worked better. So yeah, it's a character study of a character that's kind of kept at arm's length, even though we have like an internal monologue. You would think it's hard to keep a character at arm's length when you're hearing his thoughts, but he does, like, he still feels at arm's length, and you still really don't feel like you know who he is, because his internal monologue is so subjective and so untrustworthy, and you don't know what's true and what's not, and it just doesn't really give you like a cathartic experience. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm just watching cool visuals and cool sound design and cool performances for 2 hours, and it doesn't really affect me emotionally. We don't know the person that got hurt that he cares about so much. Like, there's no setup with that, so we have no investment in her. And he also, like, him as a character is very hypocritical, where he'll say, there's 4 people born every second, and 1.2 people die every second, and nothing I have ever done will make a dent in those metrics, and like, people get caught in the crossfire, and it happens, and it's not personal, and blah blah blah. but then someone he cares about got caught in the crossfire, and then he goes on a revenge spree. And it's like he's claiming all these things, and empathy is empathy's weakness and blah blah blah, but like he has all of those things for this person. So he's like preaching something that he doesn't even believe in. And like I said, that could have been really funny as a concept if they bought more into it, but when they take it so seriously, it's just sort of like almost annoying, like hearing a character preach stuff that they don't actually believe in.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything that you're saying, but I don't think that, like, the hypocrisy of his inner thoughts is an annoying thing. I think it's just like, it's kind of like how people are. Like, people always think something, you know, a certain way, but deep down, things are actually a different way. But as far as it feeling anticlimactic and you're not really able to really his character being at arm's length, I do agree with all of that, because he is such a cold person with like no really cares at all, except for that girl. And I do agree that that there is no investment in this girl at all. You find out she even exists, like that she even exists after hospital. She's already been, you know, hurt by everything.
Yeah.
Another letdown I had was there's chapter marks, and maybe I just read too far into this, but there's different chapters, and one of them was called The Expert, and that's when he finds Tilda Swinton. Mm-hmm. And I thought there would be more of like a battle between the two, since she's titled as The Expert. Like she would be an expert at like killing people, and like she's been doing this for a really long time, like a lot longer than Fassbender. Mm-hmm. But that whole sequence kind of ends pretty quick. They talk in the restaurant, and then he shoots her in the head.
Yeah, now that you bring that up, like I feel like another reason it feels anticlimactic and not as like intense as you would hope is because there's rarely ever any conflict with him trying to kill these people.
Yeah.
And most, other than when he finds the brute, like he pretty much finds the person and instantly kills them.
Yeah.
And there's no like real challenge or conflict with it. And it's just show up at new place, kill new person, go to the next one. And other than Claiborne, which I guess is its own conversation, but I don't know, it doesn't, like, think about Seven, like how different of a movie that is, and like the end of Seven, and like one of the best plot twists of all time with like real conflict.
Yeah.
And it makes it memorable, it makes it tense, it makes it entertaining, and like the killer's kind of just watching somebody, you know, go kill people for 2 hours. Yeah. And it's not as interesting as I would like for it to be.
Yeah, I think when we initially watched this, I had a slight like inflated opinion on it, and you were a little deflated. But since we've watched it, I've kind of gone down a little bit on it, because I was like, I'm not really thinking about it all the time. It's, you know, it just kind of, I mean, it did everything it wanted to, but it just didn't hit like some marks for me that I wanted to have seen.
There's nothing to really latch onto or like talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. And it's weird that David Fincher making his simplest movie makes it feel like him making his most complicated, because you watch it and you're expecting more, so you're trying to figure out like why he made something so simple on the surface.
Yeah.
Because it's like someone at his point in his career with all the masterpieces he's made normally this is the point where people start taking risks and doing like crazy stuff. And this felt like him just falling back on a genre that he's done before that he's really good at, but a much more simple, straightforward narrative with like not too much to say about it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like confuses me a little bit because I'm like, is there something I'm missing that he's trying to say? Versus like when you watch Fight Club or Seven or Zodiac or The Social Network, you leave and you're like, that was a goddamn David Fincher movie. Like,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
And it feels like when you leave The Killer, it's like, I want to say this might sound kind of disrespectful, but it almost feels like someone kind of doing a David Fincher impression. Like doing the things that David Fincher would normally do, but with not any of the nuance or the things that make him interesting.
I could see that.
It feels like I guess it's
a
ironic
David Fincher
Netflix
inspired movie.
Yeah. Like it doesn't really feel like something he would make because it feels so simple and so straightforward, and that's not normally the types of films that he makes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I wish I liked it more than I did. I still enjoy it. I still have it at a 4-star for right now. It could go down in the future. Maybe I'll watch it one more time. But the comedy is there at times, but it's pretty few and far between, and it's not really enough to like carry the movie for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sort of underwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
No, I agree with you.
And I'm open to watching YouTube videos and breakdowns or hearing people's theories on like what certain things mean and what the bigger picture of the movie really is.
That might be what I play around with. I might see if might fish around for some what other people think, and then maybe give it a rewatch and see if I still feel a little less on it than I do now.
Yeah, because it's just I don't believe that this late in David Fincher's career he would make something where he's not trying to like actively say something.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems beneath him to just make a fun. Because he during interviews, like they asked him why he made it, and he was like, "Oh, I just thought it was fun. Like I just thought it'd be a fun movie to make." And
maybe he was being serious.
But he, like that's just the way he. Most directors don't actually tell you what a movie's about. Like that's not what they do. Like they dodge questions like that. Like if you ask what the ending of one of their movies mean, like if you ask Christopher Nolan what happens at the end of Inception, he's not going to tell you, and he's going to say, "What do you think happened?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's what's more interesting." Or how the Quentin Tarantino won't tell people what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, and he was like, "If I just tell you, then everyone watched the same movie, but if I don't tell you, every person who's ever watched it watched a different movie because they all think of something different in the briefcase."
Yeah.
And he was like, "That's much more interesting to me than just telling you what's in it."
Yeah.
And so directors typically don't like reveal too much about what their movie actually means. So I don't know. I'm open to hearing it out. But yeah, as of right now, it's just a little underwhelming for me. So
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, unfortunately. I didn't really think about it much, like, once we finished it. The next day, like, usually a movie will stick with me, and I'll be like, oh, shit, that was awesome.
yeah.
But I didn't really think about The Killer that much.
Yeah. I just feel like it had so much potential to be, like, like a 5 out of 5 movie.
Yeah.
It had so much of the pieces, but it just feels a little hollow.
Yeah. No,
Feels like there's not a ton of substance.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get into our ranking.
Okay.
To preface, once again, Mank's not on here because we didn't watch it.
And both of our number ones is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah. So we'll just skip to number 2. We don't need to talk about number 1.
So
So
starting.
you've got 11, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Number 11.
number 11.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Fuck that movie.
That's not
dude.
11. That's just 2 number 1s.
No, it's number 11. I don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction here. It's
Curious
fucking
Case
last.
of Benjamin Button blows ass.
One of the most boring movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. I
It
think so.
fucking blows. I can't believe there's people that like it. I mean, there's got to be people that like it, right? Somewhere.
I mean, you said I can't believe there's people that like it, but I've never heard of anyone.
I'm on my Letterboxd. There's multiple 4 stars.
I would love.
There's some 4.5 stars.
I would love to strike up a conversation with some of those folks
Good
and
grief.
say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, that's why I did not know there was people on my friends list that gave
It's
it 4.5.
fucking
That's crazy.
Brad Pitt as an old man.
In a baby's body.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. It fucking
God damn
sucks. Like it.
Yeah, it's just really.
It
Boring.
just fucking sucks. It's boring.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can do is make a boring movie. Because some movies are bad, but they're fun to watch. This isn't that. This is just boring.
You put that on anywhere, it's basically stronger than chloroform because everyone's just
Yeah.
gonna be asleep.
Yeah. If you ever run out of melatonin and you're having a rough night's sleep, just put on Benjamin Button. It'll do the dirty work for you.
Within 10 minutes, you'll be asleep,
Yeah,
guaranteed.
guaranteed. Number 10, I've got Alien 3.
I have Alien 3 as well.
Not a bad movie. A significant jump up from Benjamin Button. I don't think it's bad at all. It's just like his filmography is so fucking hard dick
Yeah,
that it falls towards the bottom. And he didn't have much control over it. It was his first directorial job making a movie, and he signed on I think halfway through production. I don't even think he made all of it. I think someone got fired on set and he replaced them, and it was a messy production. He hates it. He hates the movie. He doesn't even think it's his. He doesn't claim it as his own movie.
Yeah,
But I've got it at a 2.5. I think it's fine.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
There's
it's
some
just
funny,
a little
there's some
forgettable.
funny moments in it.
Yeah, it's just a little forgettable for the Alien franchise. It's not one that sticks out.
Yeah,
My number 9 is Panic Room.
my number 9 is also Panic Room, but I almost had my 9 and 8 flipped. I almost did it, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, so Panic Room, also a big significant step up over Alien 3. This is the first movie on the list that I'd say I enjoy a lot.
Yeah,
Panic Room is fucking sick.
Panic Room is awesome.
It's a simple concept that David Fincher elevates with his great filmmaking and great editing. He uses a lot of slow-mo, and it just seems like a movie that another person would make and it'd be really boring and bland, but
Yeah.
since he made it, it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And you also get Jared Leto in cornrows.
That's always a good time. Got Forrest Whitaker,
Forrest Whitaker's good. Young
Jodie Foster. You've got Kirsten Stewart.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. It's a really simple concept.
It's the best
Turned
version
up
of
to
that
11.
movie that you can make. It's just such a simple movie that it falls towards the bottom of his rankings because it's not really going for much. It's just a straightforward thriller,
Yeah.
but it's perfectly executed. It's just that's he's accomplished so much with bigger, aspirations in them. That
Yeah.
Panic Room's just a great time, very solid movie.
Yeah.
But
in the mix, it just kind of falls to the wayside.
yeah. My number 8, I assume yours is the same. Maybe not. I've got The Game.
It's not the same.
Oh, I forgot. You're an idiot. And you don't like Gone Girl.
I almost had Gone Girl below Panic Room.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why I didn't do that is because I feel like Gone Girl feels more like a David Fincher movie than Panic Room does. It seems more like a movie he would make. But as far as like enjoyment, I would much rather watch Panic Room. But I think Gone Girl is a better movie objectively, and I wound up putting it over Panic Room.
I've never understood your beef with Gone Girl.
I think Gone Girl is kind of boring. Not nowhere near as bad as like Benjamin Button. Obviously, Benjamin Button is a garbage time, but to me, Gone Girl is a little on the boring side, and I feel like the story just kind of, I don't know, it just feels weird. And overall, I just don't really like it that much.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. I'm not there yet. So my number 8's The Game. And The Game. I don't know. I think it's a fun ride. But once you get to the end, it's a little hard to buy into what's happening.
Yeah.
A lot of things have to go perfectly for the plan to work. And it's like you really expected him to do that. Like you thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. It is a really far-fetched twist.
Yeah.
At the end.
I remember watching it, and like when I saw it's so like there's a lot of paranoia because you don't know what exactly is going on, and that's all done really well, but it's a little hard to imagine rewatching knowing the twist. It's kind of just a movie you watch one time for the twist. It's kind of it. But yeah, I think the ending's a little silly.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched The Game in a while, but I do know that, gun to my head, someone asked me, you have to rewatch The Game or Gone Girl? I would say The Game.
Oh, I'd say
1,000% of the time.
I'd say Gone Girl for sure.
The Game is my number. What was The Game? Your number 8?
Mm-hmm.
So The Game is my number 7, and I do think that the twist is cool. I haven't rewatched it in a while. Maybe it's less cool when you rewatch it, but overall, I do like The Game a lot, and I do like the paranoia of like what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, yeah, it's really intense.
Yeah,
during watching it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Good. It keeps me interested and invested a lot more than Gone Girl does.
All right. My number 7 is Gone Girl.
Oh, okay. So we just had those flipped.
Yeah, so I like Gone Girl more than you. I watched it for the first time, I think, like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I went into it, you telling me, like, it's bad. Like, that was always just a movie that you said was bad. And I was like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well directed. I hadn't read the book, of course, so I didn't know the twist. I thought the twist was crazy. And the performances are great. And yeah, just like a really solid, well-made movie that, like, I could still, even knowing the twist, I could still rewatch it and have a good time. It's got Big Ben in it.
We love Big Ben.
I love Big Ben.
We all love Big Ben.
Who doesn't love Big Ben? You got to be a maniac not to love Big Ben.
I mean, it is a well-made movie. It's well-directed, and the performances are really good. But kind of like the same thing as The Game. Like, it's kind of hard to buy into this thing that's been going on. It's like, that's what you did to like try and do this? You do get some big Ben Peen though. Little side shot. Ben Peen.
Yeah. It's
and
they don't call him Big Ben for nothing.
God bless.
That's what I'll
dude.
say.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. Keep your eyes peeled if you check out Gone Girl, because it's there.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, so it isn't one of my favorites. It falls towards the middle of my rankings for him, but I still really enjoy it, and I think it's a great movie.
Okay.
And then my number 6 is The Killer.
My number 6 is The Killer.
Yeah. I could see this eventually going under Gone Girl, possibly. Who knows? Who knows what time withholds?
Yeah.
But as of right now, I have it over Gone Girl just because I like the visual style, and I think it's a fun watch.
You like the Smiths?
I like the Smiths a lot. I'm a big Smiths guy. By the way, Carl's an asshole because we got in the car to go to McKay's, and I grabbed my phone to start playing music, and he said, "You can play your music as long as it's not the Smiths." Keep in mind, I'm a man who already liked the Smiths and had just watched a David Fincher movie where the Smiths is the entire soundtrack. So he basically said, yeah, you can play your music as long as you don't play the only thing you want to play right now. The number one thing that you'd like to play. I'm not
actually
listen to it.
Not a huge fan of the Smiths.
Don't say not a huge fan. You hate them. You don't like a single song. You don't like a single song.
That doesn't mean not liking something is different from.
But
hating
not a
something.
huge fan. That gives the implication that you like them just a little bit.
No, like they're okay. They're okay is what I would say. I don't like a good deal of their music, but like seeing it in The Killer, I was like,
you don't like a single one.
I mean,
Are you saying a great deal?
I'm not fucking. I don't know their whole catalog, but I know there's songs in The Killer where I'm like, this fits. This seems cool. But if I were to listen to that song by itself, I'd be like, this isn't the neatest thing I could do. I could do cooler stuff.
Listen, some people have taste, and some people don't. You're either blessed with it or you're not. I can't help you here.
I'm just letting you know how I feel.
I can't help you here. So yeah, he's an asshole. he wouldn't let me play the fucking only thing that I wanted to play. So
I just heard it for 2 hours straight. I didn't want to hear it for another hour. That's all I'm saying.
You didn't hear it for 2 hours straight. It's like 15 minutes total in the movie. So
I don't care. It felt like 2 hours straight.
You know what I care about? You being an asshole.
You know what I care about? You talking about your list.
We talked about The Killer quite extensively, so I'm not really going to talk about it.
I don't see it for me moving.
It's not ever going higher than 6.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It may be lower than 6 eventually, but it's never reaching any of these top 5 movies.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
Nope. There's no universe that exists.
Yeah, there's a big tier jump here from 6 to 5. The top 5 are all certified slappers.
I'm
certified.
Excited. Yeah.
Come in my asses. Certified. Dave was on another planet.
I think I have all 5 of these at a 5-star.
I do.
Yeah.
I have all 5 of these at a 5-star. So this is tough. This is where it gets tricky. Everything up until this point's been easy.
Yeah.
But it's damn near a 5-way tie here.
I can't stress enough. All these are perfect movies.
Yeah.
So it's just like basically your connection with them is all you have to go off.
Yeah.
Of.
Which one do you connect with the most? Which one would you want to rewatch the most?
Exactly.
If you could only keep one of them on a desert island, which one would you keep? That kind of idea.
That's the questions I had to ask myself.
Yeah. So this is probably going to get crazy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we'll have any of the same spots on here.
I know our number 1 is different. My number 5, I think is different from.
I know there's one I have a lot higher than you.
Okay.
My number 5 is Fight Club.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's not crazy. It's still it's your top 5 of 5-star Fincher movies.
Yeah. This was tough because I forced myself to decide on like this order, and I really didn't want to do it because I fucking adore Fight Club. I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love what it's saying, what like the political commentary that it has about consumerism and not being a slave to your job and being free, being yourself, doing what you want to do. I think all that shit's great. I think it's really entertaining. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. The cinematography's great. The performances are all-timers. All-time twist. Just not
What's your deal?
Hang on, I gotta find the guy's name. There's a funny line. His name was Robert Paulson.
Dude, I could have told you his name if I know what you were looking for. His name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
Bitch tits Rob.
Yeah.
That's what they call him.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's fucking amazing.
You just like the other movies just a touch.
I just like them a touch more.
Yeah.
The top 3 I like probably a good bit more, but 4 is like I couldn't really decide between 4 and 5.
I got you.
Yeah. So what's your 5?
You want to take a guess at what my 5 is?
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
No.
7.
It's 7.
Wrong. But okay.
I put 7 on here. Again, perfect movie. But looking at the other movies I got up to The Killer, and I was like, all right, this is a good list. And then I had these 5, and I was like, God damn. But I knew what my number 1 and 2 was, and so I had 3, 4, and 5, and I was like, where do I put these? And I put 1 up. I was like, I'd really like watching this movie and being invested in this, so this goes here. And I wound up putting 7 down just because it's a great movie, but it is tougher to rewatch than some of the movies I have above it, in my opinion. Just because it is kind of like a pretty bleak movie. Some pretty fucked up shit that happens. It is rewatchable, and I do like rewatching it, but I would reach for these other movies a bit more often.
See, movies being bleak is my shit.
Yeah.
Like, the darker, the better. For me.
People know you don't
the
have a soul.
Yeah, the better. The darker, the better for me. So
you snooze to 7 sometimes.
I do. I've been over this before on the pod, I think. But if I put on something fun like The Nice Guys, I'll stay up. I'll be having too good of a time. I'll be chuckling. I'll be giggling. But if I put on something serious, it's cozy. And if I put on 7 and I see a guy who ate spaghetti till he died, then I'm like, man, that sucks for him. Time to go to bed now.
You see that guy's guts everywhere, you're like, this is nice.
These sheets are warm. Yeah, so it's just cozy watching like fucked up shit happen, knowing you're safe from the monsters.
Unless you're not.
Who's to know? But yeah, I've definitely went to bed to 7 before. So what?
It's all right.
Silence of the Lambs too.
Yeah, you know, Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer, Cash from the Film Scoop. I'm sure they've all done weird stuff.
Man.
Ed Gein had a nipple belt, and you like to take naps to fucking fucked up shit. It relaxes you. Murder relaxes you. I want you to think about that. Really analyze that.
When you say
psyche.
it like that, it sounds alarming. but what you're saying is also true.
Well, anyway, what's your 4?
My 4 is The Social Network.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Our top 5 is a lot more different than I thought.
Yeah, I
it
don't
would be.
know if we'll have a single match on our top 5.
It's not looking like it.
This one is sort of interchangeable with Fight Club. It's a lot of people's number 1 Fincher, which I get. It's one of the most like seamlessly made films I've ever seen, with the combination of the writing by Aaron Sorkin and the editing and the music and the performances. It's like this is gonna sound a little like
Nuts.
a little pretentious or something, or goofy, but it's almost like watching like a symphony. It's
You fucking nerd.
It's so fucking well crafted that the runtime just glides by. And it's about something that I really don't give a fuck about. If someone told me, hey, watch The Social Network, it's about the creation of Facebook, I'd say, go fuck yourself. I don't care about that. I don't even use Facebook.
Yeah.
So he took a concept and a topic that I could give two shits about and made it one of the most entertaining and easily watched films I've ever seen.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. 100%. I don't know how long The Social Network is. It's never even dawned on me to check.
It's 2 hours.
It feels like it flies by. Everything comes together and creates just this fucking amazing time.
Mm-hmm.
Great characters, amazing performances, and I don't know, it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't give a fuck about Facebook either, or that android that is Mark Zuckerberg with his fucking
also
barbecue sauce.
Mark has really funny lines in the movie. Like, if you invented Facebook, then you would have invented Facebook.
Yeah.
Also, there's a part where they're adding something up and they're like, oh, okay, so oh god, I forgot what it is, but it's like 2 and 2 or something. It's like some really easy like math that they're adding up, and then he's like, oh, let me check that. And then he's like, yeah, I got the same thing.
Yeah,
he's just like a little dickhead.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like,
there's kind of like some American Psycho vibes with him.
Yeah.
Of him just being like a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah. Or like him at the beginning when he's like, we only got into this bar because you slept with the door guy.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't sleep with the door guy. He's my friend. Yeah. Mark's really funny.
Yeah, he is.
And he's like small and he wears like flip-flops, and I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah. He's
and
a
then
goofball.
the climax of the movie's awesome.
Oh god, yeah, dude. I love that shit.
You planted the story about the chicken. What the hell's the chicken?
I'm not coming back for a piece. I'm coming back for all of it.
So you better lawyer up, asshole. Yeah.
He's wired in.
He's wired in. Oh, he's still wired in?
All right, so my number 4 is Zodiac.
Oh.
Yeah.
You asshole.
I fucking love Zodiac. I do.
I guess not.
And my my 3 and 4 were like, I was kind of dancing around, like swapping them, but I landed with Zodiac. They're kind of pretty similar, The Social Network and Zodiac. A lot of people talking.
Yep.
People rustling papers together and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up just, I don't know, I put it there. It just felt better there. Again, it just came down to like my experience and like rewatchability. You know, I thought what I put above it, to me, I would rewatch more often and be more excited to like show other people. But Zodiac is still amazing. It's still a fucking perfect movie. Shit gets solved. It's super interesting. It's awesome. But it just wound up at number 4.
All right. Well, I'll talk about Zodiac later. So So my number 3 is Seven.
Ooh.
Which, like, this top 3, man, I'm telling you, that's rough. That I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I have to rank these because I love almost all these top 3 movies equally. And Seven is legit like one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
But it's number 3 on this list because David Fincher has a big cock.
Yeah, dude. You gush about Seven
not my
anytime
fault.
we talk about it.
Yeah.
You're like, it's always raining. It's fucking perfect. Brad Pitt's in it.
Dude, Seven is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of David Fincher's only like original movies that he's made. Everything he makes is pretty much an adaptation. It's an original movie. It's fucking raining all the time, which is my goddamn shit. I love when it rains in movies.
Yeah.
That's it's so fucking cozy. I just want to put on Seven and get under a blanket and just watch disgusting things happen. It's the best. Brad Pitt's hot.
He is something to look at for sure.
But I love the chemistry with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. It's a really great dynamic of like a young cop who's on his first big job and another cop that's about to retire. So you just get a lot of like good moments with them and him and Morgan Freeman giving him advice. Just dark as shit. Really fucked up kills.
Hell yeah.
But you don't ever see the kills. You see the aftermath of the kills, which is really interesting.
That
which
helps
is something
a lot.
that like most movies wouldn't do because you feel like people who are going to a serial killer movie want to see people get killed, but he doesn't let you see it. He just lets you see what happened.
You're seeing it as the detectives see it.
Yeah. So, really interesting way to tell that story. The visuals are just off the charts. The lighting is gorgeous. It's always just a beautiful image you're looking at. One of the best twists of all time. Best villains of all time. Fuck Kevin Spacey, but one of the best villains of all time. And pretty much David Fincher's first movie. Like, I guess you can say Alien 3 is, but like I said, he didn't have any control over that. That wasn't his story.
Right after Alien 3?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So this was like, with him having full control over what he was doing, this is the first movie he made.
God bless.
And that's
dude.
fucking crazy.
You need to calm down.
Yeah, and like I said, an original movie, not adapted from anything, not an adaptation of a book. So, yeah, it's one of my favorites. It never gets old. Just good old getting to the bottom of it. And, yeah, it's my number 3.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
That's another really good one that you have.
Yeah? I don't think so.
I like that one. All right, my number 3 is The Social Network. You've already talked about it. It's my shit. I did not expect to like it anywhere near as much as I did. I watched it before I even I didn't really know a whole lot, but I watched The Social Network and I was like, that's something.
Yeah, that's a film.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know if I've seen many of those, but that's a film.
That's it right there.
I can tell it. I know it when I see it.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Social Network is just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
has no right being as good as it is.
no, it really
it should be
doesn't,
boring
dude.
as hell.
It really doesn't. It makes no sense, but I like telling people to watch it and seeing people's reaction to it. I love Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. And I think the comedy in it helps with the rewatchability compared to like Zodiac. I think that's what wound up edging it out a little bit, is that it's a little bit funner to rewatch.
Yeah, it is fun.
Zodiac does have some fun stuff. Like, I like puzzles, but are you, you wouldn't make fun of it if you tried it. But
You're
other than that,
soiling all my Zodiac talk.
other than that, I do think I prefer the social network if I had to choose.
Nice.
It's like choosing between your kids.
I'm very surprised that you haven't read one off yet,
Oh, really?
because that means we have it in the same spot.
Possibly.
My number 2 is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
My number 2 is Dragon Tattoo.
Yep. I did the math on that.
Yep. Our first matchup.
This was almost my number 1.
Whoa.
For a while, it's been my number. I claimed it as my favorite Fincher. My favorite Fincher movie. But today I made the switch, and I was like, if I'm being honest with myself, if I could pick one on a desert island, it's not this. It's the other one. But
yeah. I thought that your list would be very different than what it wound up being.
No.
At least your top 5. I thought Dragon Tattoo, number 1, Seven, number 2, and then Zodiac, number 3.
Mm-mm.
That's what I expected from you.
Nope. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is my number 2. I think it's Fincher's most underrated movie. I love the setting in fucking Stockholm. It's snowing. It's getting to the bottom of shit. Lisbeth Salander's one of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in a movie. And she's portrayed amazing by Rooney Mara. And the movie's just dark as fuck. Like, there's scenes that are uncomfortable for me to watch.
Yeah.
Which is hard. That's tough. I go to bed to 7. It's got to be pretty fucked up to make me not want to watch it.
I think that speaks to how good the movie is, though, because like, it's a turnoff for me if there's like scenes for me that's like tough to get through.
Yeah.
Like 7's lower down on my list because it's pretty bleak and fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dragon Tattoo is my number 2 because it's so investing with the story, the characters, and the mystery of what's going on.
Yeah.
That no matter what happens, it seems it propels you forward. You're
Yeah.
like, I still have to figure this out,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how fucked up it gets.
Yeah, and it's such a good mystery.
Yeah.
There's no obvious answer. Like when you start the movie, there's no like, oh, it's this one. Like that person did it. It's a very in-depth story, and just I love the cast. I love the setting. It's so immersive. And I just think it absolutely fucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucks hard. And I was doing research today on it, and I watched a YouTube video on why the sequels never got made. And it's like a really weird story, kind of. It's not like there's just one answer that's like, oh, it didn't happen because of this. Because a lot of people... So when they signed on to do Dragon Tattoo, it was a 3-movie deal.
Oh, shit.
It was supposed to be a trilogy. And that was the plan, like, the whole time when they made the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, like, sort of underperformed. It had a $90 million budget, and it made, like, $230 million, which, with marketing, like, isn't that great of a return for something that was... The book at the time was a New York Times bestseller, and they thought it was, like, going to really be a hit at the box office. They thought it was going to make the money that Tom Hanks' Da Vinci Code movies made.
It's crazy
because you can make fun of those movies and say they're not good. I haven't seen them. Probably not good. But they're based on best-selling books, and they made a shit ton of money at the box office. So Sony saw that and said, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And so the movie didn't make as much as they thought it would, but they were still going to make the sequels, and they were still trying to coordinate it. And basically, Daniel Craig the next year made Skyfall, which propelled him into like a new dimension of stardom and made his fee go up. Sony wanted to lower the budget for the second movie, like from 90 million. The 90 million was the first movie. They wanted to lower it. They said we spent too much, and now Daniel Craig is going to cost way more than he did for the first movie because he was lesser known when he made the first movie. So, and he was also busy because like he instantly just like started making the next James Bond movie, and so Rooney Mara and David Fincher started kind of like working on other stuff while they figured out what to do with Daniel Craig. So David Fincher started working on like House of Cards, and Rooney Mara started doing other stuff. I can't remember exactly what, but they eventually like decided to write Daniel Craig out of the movie, or like recast him and go with Rooney Mara and David Fincher. And then they like decided to turn it into a TV show, but then the Swedish people who own the book said no to the TV show. And it was like this big year, like for years they were trying to figure out what to do with the sequels, and all these things just kept like going wrong. And David Fincher basically in like 2014 he just said like I give up. I'm not dealing with any of this stuff anymore. But then in an interview he said that someone asked him if they were making a sequel, and he said I hope so, like the script is really good and has a lot of potential. So then the producers got mad at him for like making people think he wanted to make a sequel when he doesn't. And this was also happening during the time when Sony got hacked and all their emails got leaked. So we know all this stuff because of like leaked Sony emails to like producers talking to each other about like David Fincher and about recasting and everything. It's a really good YouTube video if you're interested, but yeah, there wasn't like just a, oh, the movie didn't do well, never mind, we're not doing the sequels.
Yeah.
It was like for years and years they tried to get the sequels made, and they were going to make it apparently the second and third book are like one story basically. So they were going to shoot them at the same time and then release them like a year apart. But yeah, it was weird. Like they tried for years to get it made, and decided on like a bunch of different ways to go about it. And then it really threw a wrench in their plans when the Swedish people decided to write a fourth book. Cause like Stieg Larsson passed away. Like he passed away before his book, any of the books even got published. They got published after he was dead.
Oh shit.
And they hired a new person to write a fourth book. So then Sony started freaking out, and they were like, well, fucking now what do we do? They're making a fourth book. And yeah, it was a big, big fucking mess. But it's a big disappointment because I love Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I would have loved to see the sequels. But
Heck yeah, it sounds like it was just a perfect storm of fuck show stuff.
yeah, it seems like the thing that really fucked them up was casting Daniel Craig. Because
fucking Daniel Craig, dude? Why'd you have to go be hot and
yeah,
fucking awesome?
like they got someone who like at the time it worked, but then he came out with just a big cock movie the next year that made $1 billion, and
yeah.
his rate went up and he got more busy, and like he's a huge part of the story in the sequels, and you can't make them without Blomkist, and they would have had to recast him, and it's like,
Yeah. How dare he be successful and cool?
yeah, so
Yeah, that freaking sucks. I would pay a wild amount to see a David Fincher
pay a good
sequel.
$20 to see that
I'd
on a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Catch me in the right mood, I'll pass a 20 burger.
I mean, that's a
over
whole
for that.
day's right there.
Yeah.
That's a whole day's work.
Yeah. So yeah, that was disappointing hearing all that, but hey, I mean, and it would make me feel better if he like went on after that to make some of my favorite movies of his, and I was like, oh well, at least we didn't get the sequels, but at least we got this. But like, all he made in that time was Gone Girl and Mank.
Yeah.
Like, I would easily turn those two in for 2 Dragon Tattoo sequels. That fucking come in my ass. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And in 5 seconds, but yeah, don't do Mank and Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Do Dragon Tattoo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of blows.
Yeah, but I want to read the books now, so I can like picture the sequels in my head with those those actors playing them.
Yeah.
That I mean, it's good enough. It's like when I read Dune Messiah, like I was picturing the Dune actors in Denis Villeneuve's movie.
Chalamet was on the mind.
Yeah. So
Heck yeah, I'd be interested in reading them. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what people say about the fourth one, it being a different author, kind of.
I'm not reading that one. I'm reading Stieg Larsson's, and that's it. I'm reading
I
his
just say it
trilogy.
being a different author kind of weirds me out a bit, but
Yeah. Same reason I'm not reading the fucking Brian Herbert Dune books. Fuck you. I'm not reading your any if it's not Frankie Frank, you can get the fuck out of here.
yeah, I'm not reading your stupid book.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was your number 2?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Number 1, which is pretty crazy. I did not expect that to be your number 1.
The Zodster.
Zode.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be your number 1 at all.
Yeah.
What happened that
It's
caused
really
you to...
just like the more time that goes by, the more I love Zodiac. It's all dialogue pretty much. There's like 6 total minutes of killing. Like it's not at all in the movie really. It's few and far between. It's mainly just Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo getting to the bottom of things. That's all it is. And the characters are so interesting too, because you have Jake Gyllenhaal, who's like a dork. He's a cartoonist. He's not even like a detective or a journalist. He's a cartoonist.
Yeah.
And he's just there because he works with them and he's overhearing them talk, and he's really like smart, so they start like using him to try to solve the mystery of who the Zodiac is. And
I like puzzles.
It's a great performance by Jake Gyllenhaal, and there's a lot of humor to it too. Like he solves like his code, the Zodiac's code, really fast, and then Robert Downey Jr. is like, "How'd you do that?" And he was like, "I like puzzles." And it's funny, and then they go to the bar, and then Robert Downey Jr. orders like a manly, like normal drink, and then Jake Gyllenhaal gets like this blue drink. I forgot what it's
like
called.
A big blue like fishbowl drink.
Yeah. And then he's like, what is that? And then he's like, you're a man, right? Or something like that. He like basically calls it a woman drink, and he goes, "You wouldn't make fun of it if you tried it." And then it cuts to them, and like Robert Downey Jr. takes a sip of it, and then it cuts to him with like 5 empty bottles in front of him.
They're
with that
singing
drink.
those blue fucking fishbowl drinks.
Yeah, and then there's this one scene, probably the best joke in the movie, and Gyllenhaal goes up to RDJ and he's like, "Hey, does anyone around the office call me, like, do I have a nickname?" And then he's like, "What, you mean like retard?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "No."
Jesus Christ.
Sorry that's a slur, but I'm quoting a movie, so it's, blame Fincher. But that joke's fucking good.
That's great. I completely forgot that was in the movie.
Yeah, that's the best joke in the movie. That gets me
awesome.
every time, because he hears someone call him that. Like, I think someone tells him, like, "Why do you think they call you the R word?" And then he's like, "No one calls me that." And he's like, "Yeah, they do." So then he goes and asks RDJ, and he's like, "Yeah." So, yeah. I don't know. I just love getting to the bottom of shit movies.
Yep.
Relaxing, people in offices talking. The setting's really immersive, like that 70s setting. It looks great visually, and it's similar with The Social Network, how it just flows so like effortlessly. And I could see someone watching Zodiac and saying it's boring. I can understand that. It's not going to be for everyone, but I love dialogue heavy movies like Spotlight and shit like that.
Yeah.
Just journalism and getting to the bottom of things. Rustling some papers.
Yeah.
Staying up late, that's just my shit. And then a lot of intense scenes too, like when Jake Gyllenhaal goes in that guy's basement.
Oh my god, yeah. I would have
Yeah.
been like, no, I'm not going down there.
Yeah. He goes, not a lot of basements in California. Yeah, that's some creepy shit.
Yeah, dude. But
Yeah.
you're a freak. I'm not gonna go in your basement.
Yeah. So it's really close for me between Zodiac and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And I could see it flipping any day now. I love them pretty much both equally, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Zodiac.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel between Zodiac and Social Network. They're fucking almost completely equal. Depending on the day, I'd put one over the other. But I do think that Dragon Tattoo at my number 2 and then motherfucking Fight Club at my number 1, I don't see that ever changing.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Fight Club is a masterpiece. It's perfect in every way. About fucking men kicking the shit out of each other.
Yep.
It's about a guy named Robert Paulson. No, I love Fight Club. Everything about it, the visuals, the performances, the twist at the end, the fucking Where's My Mind set fucking playing at the end.
Hell yeah.
Is awesome.
You met me at a very strange time in my life.
Yeah. I love Fight Club, and I think I connected with it the most. Not that I'm fucking doing anything about it, but I get like people being like a slave to consumerism and stuff and to their job. I am too, but it's cool to see someone else talk about it.
It's cool to see other people do something about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure not.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going to work.
Yeah.
And trying to make a livable wage.
I'm gonna keep going to work to make money to buy things that I don't need to impress people I don't like.
Yeah. And if you tried to fight me, I'd probably say no.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be hurt.
Yeah. Fighting is that would hurt me.
Yeah.
Like then I'd feel pain.
But I
don't
do
wanna
like
do
Fight
that.
Club.
Yeah.
I like people talk about how frustrating things are.
Yeah.
And seeing other people think about doing stuff. But like
I like hearing other people ask, how much can you really know about yourself if you've never been in a fight?
exactly.
But then me not doing anything about it.
yeah. That's the cherry on top.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club's awesome.
And you get fucking shirtless Brad Pitt with his tiny little nipples exposed.
You get Jared Leto.
We don't
The best part of the movie. Is
What do
you
they
get
call
Jared
him again?
Leto.
Angel
Angel
face?
face.
Yeah. I wanted to destroy something beautiful.
He says that.
I'm pretty sure after he almost kills him.
I try to erase Jared Leto from my head after I watch a Jared Leto movie.
I like it when he beats the fuck out of him.
I
like
forget
to imagine that's real.
every time I put on Blade Runner 2049. I forget he's in it until I see him again.
Yeah.
Because every time I finish Blade Runner 2049, I have a Jared Leto Men in Black device
Eraser.
that only erases Jared Leto
Yeah.
from my head.
You forget that he
So
rambles.
when I
for
watch
4
American
minutes.
Psycho, Jared Leto Men in Black device. When I watch Blade Runner 2049, Jared Leto Men in Black device, I instantly wipe him from my brain.
Yeah.
So I have one for Fight Club too. I do it after Fight Club.
Yeah.
So I don't remember any of his lines.
Hell yeah. I don't remember anything he says to you. I remember once he beats the fuck out of him, he does look funny though.
Yeah.
I remember him like handing a guy a folder and he looks up, he's like, Jesus Christ.
Doesn't he like not have eyebrows or something?
I don't know, dude. He does something weird with his
Yeah.
face. He does some weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared Leto sucks, but Fight Club.
Brad Pitt's the man.
Yeah, Fight Club, Brad Pitt, Ed Norton. What more do you want?
Yeah. Just guys being dudes.
They make soap. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's. Oh shit! We didn't do our trivia.
Oh my god, yeah.
We got some trivia. Got 2 questions.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Who directed Donnie Darko?
I don't know.
Awesome.
Right off the gate, I haven't. Wait. No, I don't know. I know it's a guy.
Richard Kelly.
Fuck. I wouldn't have got that.
Some fan. What are the names of Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie's characters in Good Time?
Is one of them Donnie?
No.
Connie.
Connie's one.
Connie and... Fuck. What's Benny's name? I don't think I know Benny Safdie's name.
Benny's name is Nick.
Nick. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Yep.
I knew. I was on to something with. I was like fucking Donnie, Connie, something like that. Yeah. I wouldn't have
Connie
got
and Nick.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. This. For those of you who don't know, Cash has a very strange, borderline something. I'm not gonna say it, but ability to name whatever movie a year came out, or whatever movie. Yeah,
Nice.
whatever movie.
Yeah,
a
I'm
year
the
came
one
out.
with autism. Yeah.
I didn't say that. You said that.
You meant it.
I didn't say anything. All I said was you have a weird skill of
And
knowing
you're the one that can't
the
speak.
year that
So
every movie it came out.
Who's
ever.
the stupid one here? You can't speak.
So what year did Forrest Gump release?
1994.
See, weird.
It's not weird.
You don't even like that movie.
No.
So why do you know that?
It's one of the most iconic.
That would be
movie
like
years
if
of all
I
time.
knew when Michael Cera was born.
No, it wouldn't be.
That would be.
Because I don't know years when people were born.
You'd be like, oh, don't you hate that guy? Yeah, but I know everything about him.
I don't know years when people were born. I know movie years.
Weird.
You also picked one of the most iconic movie years of all time.
I picked a movie that I knew you didn't like, and I was like, yeah, you might know this, but, throw it out there. My next question is, in what movie did Bruce Willis play Malcolm Crowe?
Malcolm Crowe.
Malcolm Crowe.
Have I seen it?
You have seen it.
The old Malcolm Crowe.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not Die Hard. It's not any of the Glass movies. It's not Pulp Fiction. I'm going to say Looper.
It's not Looper.
It sounds like a name they would give someone in The Expendables.
It does sound like one of those.
I've seen this.
You have seen it, yeah.
Oh, is it Sixth Sense?
It is a Sixth Sense. I held off Doctor from Dr. Malcolm Crowe because I was like, that would make it obvious.
Yeah.
Because he's not a doctor any other time that I know of.
Yeah, that would have kind of been it.
But yeah, you got it.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Well, yeah, that's all we got for this week. I'm not sure what our
Nice.
I'm not sure what our next episode will be.
It'll
I
be
want to see the holdovers tomorrow, hopefully, if you're down.
Hell yeah.
I want to see that.
That'll be a little side piece to our in-depth Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Well River Rapids episode.
Yeah, that'll be the sideshow.
Yeah.
To the main attraction. But yeah, nothing like too huge coming out. Let me check real quick. See what we got coming out. Trolls Band Together.
So, I'm not going to watch that.
It was a joke, Carl. I'm not either.
For those of you who don't know, I've seen both Trolls and Trolls World Tour.
Whose fault is that?
It's 1,000% mine.
Okay.
I need to just start telling my wife, like, hey, I'm not going to do that. But, whatever.
Yeah, that's not something I would do with my time, but hey, teach their own.
I needed to be like, hey, why the fuck did you watch the Hunger Games movies without me. Get out of here. Get lost, pal.
Yeah. Take a hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know she got KFC without me?
What?
Yeah. And her excuse was she said I was asleep. And that's why she didn't get KFC for both of us.
Have you ever been asleep while she's getting food?
I fell asleep because she was doing something while I was waiting on her to get food, and then she just got KFC, my favorite place, without me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm waiting on her. She's doing something weird.
I don't even get
I fall
KFC
asleep.
without you.
Exactly.
And I hate you.
Yeah.
And that's your wife.
Yeah.
And that
she's
it
supposed
feels
to have
wrong.
some feelings with it for me.
Yeah.
Enough to not go to KFC without me.
Yeah.
I guess not.
It'd be like y'all making nachos without me.
Yeah.
It's like
Never done that
that's
in my life.
my favorite food. Why would you do that to me?
Anytime nachos comes near me, I'm like, Cash, come take a look at this.
Come inspect these.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Not sure what it'll be about, but hey.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a scoop.
Yeah.
It'll be a scoop about film. That's what I can tell you.
Guaranteed.
That's all that's important here.
Hell yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week.
On the Film Scoop.
Got the old mic test.
There is an idea of a mic test.
There's an idea of a mic test. Some kind of abstraction.
Dude, your Pat Bateman's really good.
Pat Bateman.